Well, hello. It has been a hot minute. This is Lucie Mitchell, your host of the now newly branded Fiercely Bold with Lucie Mitchell podcast. I kind of took a hiatus from this video, this vlog, this video podcast, this journey that I had been on. Because I'm in a season of rebranding. I'm honestly in a season of like fuckery. Like, seriously, like I don't know if this is you, but I keep looking around at who's doing what and catch myself going, okay, I need to do the same thing. I need to be just like that person. I need to be just like that coach. And it got really exhausting. And so a couple weeks ago, there's a lot that's gone on, but a couple weeks ago, I just didn't have it in me. I was like, I don't know what it is I want to talk about on this podcast to all 8 or 9 of my listeners. And my husband and I went to South by Southwest. He spoke on a panel about podcast and branding. And it actually got me thinking, with all the, there was like a music artist on there. There was another gal who had started a podcast because she ran for like public office and lost. So she wanted to share all of her tips and tools and all the things. And I don't remember what the other person was, but they all just kind of talked about the purpose of a podcast. And are you utilizing it to really get your message across? And so in this journey of this podcast that I started last year, March, I believe it was March of 2022. And the whole purpose, it started out as the Fierce and Beautiful Collective. I have it as a tattoo. It was part of my brand about stepping into the fiercest and most beautiful version of yourself. And as I did a couple episodes, and it was resonating with women and some men, I got to thinking, well, before I became fierce and beautiful, I had to be ready to rise. I had to be ready to rise to that occasion, rise into that person that I wanted to step into. And so I reformatted and announced, I did a whole podcast. You could go back through and find it. And decided to call it Ready to Rise because I felt like sharing the things that have worked for me in business, in life, in my relationship with myself and my husband and with friends and others and God and everything. You have to be ready to rise. And I wanted to like share that. And like a week and a half ago, I get an email from an attorney giving me a cease and desist on the Ready to Rise. Like somebody was in the process of trademarking it. And I was like, okay, well, that's dumb. And I get it. But I was like, okay, this is not a battle. I'm not that committed to it. It's fine. I'm like, whatever. I even laughed. When I replied to the email, I was like, no biggie, dude. Like, I'll change it. LOL. Like, really? You needed to have an attorney, like, come and, like, give cease and desist to anybody and anyone? Did you even look to see when's the last time I did a podcast? So I sat there and I was like, I actually went on to, like, the iTunes app and I was like, okay, what is it that I want to say? What is it that I'm trying to do with this platform? Because I've stepped away from like nutrition coaching. And those of you that follow me on YouTube know I utilize my YouTube when I do to share my favorite recipes, to share my favorite clothes, to share things about mindset, how to be the sexiest version of you. Like, because it's all encompassed. It's all one. And then I looked at this rebrand I'm doing. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that the colors change. Even though I'm wearing pink because it's a beautiful day and I have a luncheon and then I have a girls thing later. So I was like, and I just got this top at a cute little boutique. These are not my brand colors. Gold and hunter green jewel tones, black. That's that next level dark feminine energy, which I'm going to have a 3-part podcast series on everything I'm learning about stepping in to your dark feminine energy. That's coming. But I was like, okay, well, what is it that people are saying about me? What is it that when I'm having conversations with women and men, like that get to know me or already know me, what are they saying? And they are saying things like, dude, like you are so bold. Like you have stepped into this fierce version of yourself and this sexy version of yourself. I mean, if y'all don't know, if you're not following me on the socials, I did just get my boobs done. It's something that I wanted to treat myself to after birthing 3 babies and having the life sucked out of them. And I'm obsessed, so don't come at me. And I'm having a tummy tuck done in 5.5 weeks. So I'm leveling up to the sexiest version of myself. But you're right. I am totally like fierce and I am bold. So I searched and I did not find a podcast that said fiercely bold with Lucie Mitchell. So welcome. I know that was a very long-winded tangent that I just went on and I'm so sorry. But welcome to the Fiercely Bold podcast with Lucie Mitchell. Going into 2023, and granted we're already like at the middle towards the end of March, I've come to the conclusion that I am a kaleidoscope. I am a unicorn. I cannot be bound to one thing. I cannot be bound to one title. Like, that is confusing, but it's like narrowing down your niche. It's against everything within my core. Because if within my core is to help every single person that I can in some way, and I have many gifts and many talents, I can't just narrow myself down to one niche of like, I'm only going to help you in your branding. Like, yes, I've stepped into this next level version of myself as a business success coach and public relations agency. And those can encompass many different areas because you could have an amazing story that needs to be told, and it needs to be told regionally, locally, regionally, nationally. That is what I want to help you do because we all have a story to tell. But if you're like, I can't even get out of my own way, that's where my business success coaching comes in because I know that I've been there. I mean, if you've listened to any of these podcasts, you know I've done everything from be a hairdresser to an accountant to a babysitter to a nanny to a tutor I did collections for 3 years to contracts to a network marketing person to a nutrition coach to a transformational nutrition coach to a transformational life coach. And now I'm stepping into this next level, which is one that is going to free up my time because it doesn't take all day, but one where I want to be able to guide you because there are different versions of Lucie in every single phase of life that I've been in. There's different versions of me that I had to go through. And I know one of you listening to this, or if you stumble across this podcast, is going to be like, okay, you know what? I want to do this thing. Say your life's goal, like your dream has always been to run a boutique. Like you love fashion or you love little trinkets or you are an artist or a designer. But you just feel it's not possible for you. I want to help you figure out why you think it's not possible. I want to help you deep dive because we all have that inner narrator, that inner voice that is telling us that we can't do something. And it's not true. It's definitely not true. We just are more comfortable in believing it's not true because we're more comfortable in believing that it's true because the work to make it not true is so much harder. There is this concept, there is this belief pattern that healing trauma is more traumatic than the trauma that you experienced. And when I first heard that, I was like, no, I don't think so. But then when I really thought about it, and I thought about my own journey healing the guilt that I had over my dad's passing, healing the guilt that I had over the childhood trauma that I experienced, going through and healing the trauma of an abusive first marriage. I was more comfortable holding on to that perception of myself that I had no worth, that I had no value, that I deserved everything that happened to me. That was more comfortable than releasing. Because then, honestly, for me, I was like, then what's my identity? Who am I? If I don't have this identifier as a trauma victor, as a trauma survivor, as an abuse survivor, what do I have? I wasn't ready to see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? And if you're there, believe me, you can. It takes baby steps, but you definitely can work through, and it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. You're going to need help. I've got an amazing breathwork coach, and my life coach has been amazing. I can help you work through. There's lots of methods of release, but when you start to replace those negative thoughts with thoughts of prosperity and positivity and hope for this next version of you, that's when the real work begins. And it sucks, but the end is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. So just like getting that email of that, here I was comfortable in the Ready to Rise podcast, and finding out that I have to come up with something new. At first I was like, honest, I'm gonna tell y'all, first I was like, fuck you. No, fuck you. I am not changing because you want to trademark a common statement. And then I realized, well, they did trademark Bootylicious, and I think the Kardashians trademarked something like, I feel trademarking is so dumb because you're owning and it's not, it's intellectual property, but it's so dumb. It's like, I had to go through the paperwork when I worked for in the Silicon Valley to trademark our company's name, and it was just so tedious. If you want to trademark something, by all means, go right ahead, because I don't want to ever have to deal with that again. So again, that's why I did extensive research to make sure that nobody is using Fiercely Bold with Lucie Mitchell. Okay. But getting that email, it was like I had this like Jekyll and Hyde, kind of, angel devil thing going on my shoulders. And I was just like, you know what? Release what no longer serves you. Release what is holding you back. You weren't really attached to that name because you weren't doing the work. I mean, I'm looking right now, and February 16th was the last episode that I dropped. So here I'll drop this one today as a bonus, and I'm doing a full relaunch next week with my part 1 of 3 series on dark feminine energy. And, I'm looking at it going, okay, if I was really, really stuck on that, I would have had a whole lot more content put out. That's been like 4 episodes I could have put out, and I didn't. So release what's no longer serving you, because that is the freeing part. And that's all that I really wanted to say. This is a very short and sweet podcast, video cast, whatever we're calling these when we post them up on YouTube. I have no idea. But I am working with a new business coach right now who is totally going to help me create my content. We're going to have some business topics. We're going to have some PR, branding, marketing topics. I am so excited for the dark feminine energy. I've been reading 2 different books. I'm tapping into it. And I want to do this 3-part series to really teach you how we get at this misconception that dark feminine energy is like villain, is malicious. Think Maleficent. Like she's dark, she's beautiful, she's got the bold red lip, but she's conniving. That has nothing to do with it. Dark feminine energy really has to do with stepping into the version of yourself that gets what you want. You are using your energy to attract that, because that is how God made us. Very, very powerful. But you're stepping into this fierce version of yourself, this bold version of yourself, where you see what it is that you want and you are going to attract it with your energy. And it's about basically not being a doormat, but like being this feminine, sexy, energy, like attracting version of you, and how you can use that in business, use that in life. Use that to attract the man of your dreams. Use that to spice up your marriage and your love life with your partner, your significant other. How you can use it to get your children to respond the way you want them to respond. Oh yeah, it's a whole vibe. It is a whole vibe. So I'm going to be having some blogs come out about it. I'm going to be having, of course, my podcasts, and I want you to know that, within the show notes, I'm just going to put my website, and of course my Facebook page, and I'm down to 1 Instagram. I'm like really just honing things down, and really just trying to find the most focused version of me that attracts my ideal client, attracts my ideal person into my space, into my containers. And I know that that's you, babe. So with that being said, I don't have a catchy phrase, y'all. I don't. I just came up with this. Live fiercely bold. Follow along, like, subscribe, share with all of your friends. It's going to get juicy. I know I've said that before, but I had to get myself juicy. I had to get myself ready for this. I wasn't there. And then, of course, I was recovering, from surgery. So mentally, I was like, no, the last thing I want to do, the last thing that I want to do is record a podcast. I'm being blunt. Okay. I'm not laying there at night thinking of all this kind of content. It just, when it comes to me, I have to just give it to you. And this is what I'm doing. All right. So stay tuned. The next series is going to be a 3-part series on how to tap into your dark feminine energy and what it can mean for your life and your business. I'm so excited for it. And follow along. Check out the show notes. Follow along. If you head over to my website, I've got some amazing freebies there. And follow me on all the socials. Instagram is kind of funny. I don't take life seriously. I can't be business 100%. I just can't. I would go insane. So with that being said, until next time, friend.